Women of Reddit. What are things men do that scares you but they don't realize? Messages you on a dating app commenting on having found your profile and that they are in the same location as you. They can see you but you can't see them. I had a guy do this on a fully packed train I was on to go to work. I'm not an anxious person but it felt really uncomfortable. Those apps need like a minimum number for the range it will tell you on how close you are to others. There's one app I know of that will go all the way down to how close in feet you are away from each other, and whenever I would be messaged by someone in that range it was always creepy as hell. Following you to your car to get your number. Don't ever do that. Standing in doorways / blocking exits. Flirting is fun so long as you don't flirt by asking me where I live. And if I live alone. And as an expat if I know people in the area. If you want to chat. Flirt. Get to know me? Don't start with the questions that set off alarm bells in my head. What security system do you employ? Do you leave your windows unlocked? Or, lol JK. But do you? Have you by any chance built an immunity to chloroform? Just asking, haha. I've been approached several times in public by random men who say they want to be friends with me. One leaned in really close to have a conversation and asked me where I was from and where I live. Another grabbed my hands and remarked on how soft my skin is. Another one literally locked arms with me and dragged me to a coffee shop to get to know me, and then later told me to come with him to a more private place for a view of the city. I weakly joke about it sometimes, but in the moment it really does make me nervous. I don't know if I just look really unimposing. I'm an Asian woman but I'm taller than average. But I'm not sure why it happens. Regardless, please don't just grab random women. Even out of friendliness. And respect personal space. Asian woman here too. This happened to me a lot in NYC. A few times I got so sick of it I'd scream at them in the middle of the street and make a scene. They usually skitter away immediately. I hate to do that. But it's just infuriating. Nah. Feet politeness. Scream away. Also, I'm sorry this has happened to you. While talking online and I say I don't know about meeting up, and their response is you are more likely to be raped by someone you actually know in person. Yup. Not meeting up now. Yeah. If a dude is saying that, they are ass peeps and know they are saying it. Getting really intense about our relationship / friendship really early on. A lot of guys turn women into this kind of fantasy thing that's supposed to make them whole / help them change or whatever. Sir, I am the main character in my own life. Not just a supporting one in yours. When you put that pressure on me right away, abs without reciprocation. I know that I don't actually matter. You've been taught that women serve you. Calling them beautiful as much as possible. Once or twice is nice. If you know them. But if you don't know the guy and he says it too much, it freaks me out. On a Tinder date. This guy kept telling me how beautiful my skin was while he watched me eat. He didn't get anything. There was no second date. Your skin is so beautiful. I can't wait to wear it. What? Nothing. Blocking my path or physically holding me in place if they are not done talking to me. Basically, using more strength / size to restrict my motion in any way. I'm seeing so many comments like this. I cannot believe it is common behavior. I'm a large man and couldn't imagine making a woman stay where I want. That's peepin' creepy. The reason it may be so common is because women are also made to feel as though a strong reaction in public is an overreaction. I've seen women tolerate this behavior often because they didn't want to make a scene. Hit on you in locations where you cannot escape, in closed places like elevators. Or workplaces. I had a taxi driver hit on me. Question me about my love life and ask for my number. I was literally locked in a moving vehicle with the guy. How are you supposed to feel safe saying no? Luckily, I think he was just a nice clueless guy, so I felt safe enough to negotiate and take his number instead of giving mine out. I was peepulely assaulted by a taxi driver. I was dressed normally, headed to the Sky train on a Sunday morning. He aggressively hit on me and I either didn't respond, awkwardly laughed or smiled uncomfortably, seeing as I was trapped there. He repeatedly asked that I put his number in my cell phone and I repeatedly declined. Until eventually I was uncomfortable enough that I just did it, so that he would stop asking. When we finally got to the destination, he turned around in his seat, reached into the back of the cab, and stuck his hands inside my shirt/bra and grabbed my boobs. I pushed him off of me and got out, threw the money down on the back seat and quickly ran into the station. I went to trial over it, and the judgment it was deferred/issued in writing a few months after the trial was something very similar to this. While it is established that touching did occur, it was not clear that it was of an unwanted nature. Some contributing factors were that I had agreed to take the guy's number and still shots from the event it was caught on camera showed me smiling. I really wonder what it is I was supposed to do differently. If you aren't polite, it might go from grabbing your boob to driving to a different area of the city to rape or kill you. Damned if you do. Damned if you don't. I was peepulely assaulted in an Uber at around 2 a.m. while coming home from a music festival and drunk out of my mind. I just wanted a ride home. The driver saw an intoxicated and alone 20-year-old woman. He stuck his hand in my shirt and in my pants. I didn't want any of it, but I was too scared to realize I just had to get out of the car. Anytime someone tries really hard to convince me he's a nice guy, every guy I've met that desperately brings it up every chance he gets isn't usually very nice. It always makes me wonder, what are they trying to hide? Like, why do I have to think you're nice? Prove it with your actions. Don't tell me repeatedly. Any guy who says he's not a nice guy. Good people do not declare they are good. They just are good. Without the announcement. Jokingly using your strength to move me or keep me from moving. If I want to go home and you're pulling me back, I am not actually going along with it. You are stronger than I am and I literally cannot leave. Even without using strength, just kind of blocking the way when talking to a woman. It usually happens at clubs or bars when a stranger talks to you. I am quite small, which makes it especially intimidating if I can only escape the situation if you step aside. Undefined. I was with my ex in Korea for a couple weeks. She wanted to go clubbing and I didn't. I warned her that I had been warned that Korean guys are somewhat lax with grabbing girls after drinking. It happened to her and a guy forced her to kiss him. My ex is someone who just brushes that speep off, but I could imagine that can be really bad for certain people. Guys in Korea selling mobile contracts, etc. apparently will just grab girls on the street. I live in Japan and it's the complete opposite. This is like the most anti-touching country in the world. Definitely the same amount of creeps though. Undefined. My ex was groped in the subway in Tokyo. They have separate cars for women. I don't think it's fair to say that Japan is anti-groping. English isn't my first language, so I can't really generalize this, but asking if I need a ride and keep pestering me when I decline. I used to walk home from school when this old man literally parked his car in front of me while I was crossing a small parking lot and asked if I needed a ride. I lied and said the house at the end of the block was my house. He did it a bunch more times until I had to change my walking route. It was a longer way, but I felt safe again. Driving really aggressively and having road rage. When I was younger and dating, I had so many experiences as a passenger with young guys who were otherwise normal but really intense and scary when they got behind the wheel. It always seemed like a red flag. Honestly, I think that men don't realize how frightening their rage can be. Maybe it's a trauma response. Or maybe it's the fear that the rage will turn towards you. I don't know. Whenever I got in those situations, I would make myself small and quiet. Not say a word unless prompted. Get out of the car at the destination and never get back in a car with them again. As a man, I never realized this. I wouldn't have said I had anger issues. But sometimes whenever I get really frustrated, I hit things. It's controlled in as much as a verbal and physical outburst can be, I suppose. It's always on an object, never ever a person, and is always with the flat of my hand. It doesn't hurt and makes a good loud sound. I didn't realize how scary it was to people until I had a couple girls, one being my wife, get really nervous after I did it. Brought me right back. That's for sure. Undefined. My boyfriend yells and hits the table when we play video games over Discord. I always go quiet and don't want to play or talk anymore afterwards because it's really scary. He apologizes and tries to be quieter. But I have PTSD with abusive exes, and I really wish it would click for him how terrifying that is for me. I'm glad you realized it. At least. Leave a like and a comment if you liked the video. Check out more Reddit related video. I am posting them daily. Subscribe to see more Reddit content.